So my topic is democratizing the deployments. Once your application has been up and running, okay, with on your local machine, let's say for example, not on the production environment or we can say staging environment. So how will you get the complete control on your application within the different environment or in your environment? So that is the talk about. So I'm starting with my introduction. I'm Uchit Vyas. I'm working as a cloud architect at Rain Cloud in India. As my hobby, I'm writing books on cloud. So yes, whatever I will be demonstrating, which be on a cloud. Okay. So I'm leading the infrastructure automation as well as the cloud automation for my company, and we have created some beautiful platform for application deployment. Okay. So before jumping into the topic, let's start with a small overview what I'm gonna cover or what is my motto, right? So single metric I'm measuring, that is speed with the correctness. Whenever it's starting from the application development till the production deployment, how fast you are doing that process. Let's for example, in some companies, people are following agile as well as the waterfall model, but the deployment for the single feature on the production environment is taking like a day or a week, right? My mission is to automate everything as possible. I'm mainly focusing on the software as a service applications like SaaS applications. If it is like platform-based applications or infrastructure-based applications, then that's my area, to automate it as a SaaS. Okay. So whenever the software as a service startup is happening, any new startup is getting formed, they will only focus first on how to capture the market, first of all. So first, they will think about the ROI. Okay, whatever the application development I'm doing, what will be the ROI for that? Next, once the application is famous in the market, then you need to capture the market fast and onboard the new customers rapidly. That can be the 3 phases for you to gain the market, to be the hero in the market, right? So only one phenomena over here. We can start with the big thinking, start with the small application chunk, and then scale very fast. So I will be focusing on how to scale very fast. Once you are starting with your POCs or implementations, after that what? So first, there are 3 phases. Step 1, pilot project. Whenever you are starting with the new idea, definitely idea will be a pretty big for your organization, for your staff, as well as from the product development perspective, right? So in that, once the idea has been implemented, and now it's a time for a POC, you will be doing the pilot product overview, or we can say implementation, to showcase your management, to showcase your managers, like how my platform product, or we can say pilot product will work, and what kind of advantage I will get. So in that first phase, definitely the clear value will be delivered because it's a pilot project. It's not running for the market. It's for internal organization only. The second phase, once the pilot project has been approved, you will start with, okay, now I have to capture the market. I have to reach people about my products, all right? In that case, the new customers will come on board with you. So how fast you are doing the onboarding? If you are doing the onboarding, that means you are rapidly creating the new infrastructure, or we can say new applications environments for your clients, right? So the third step, okay, now customers are getting onboarded on your infrastructure, on your application. Now you have to scale. You have to create a new features for your applications. You have to upgrade the particular features, as well as you have to maintain the lead in the market. You have to lead the market once you are getting the customers. Otherwise, the customer will run away from your platform, right? So the mortality rate, generally, startup business will fail. Do you know what are the reasons? Anybody, any guess? Like after 2 years or 3 years, startup has to shut down, or they have to merge with another startups. So they start with the collaboration product, or we can say they start with collaborating the platform with each other. Anybody, any idea why the startup getting failed? Correct. The best example given yesterday, Nokia. Why they got failed? They couldn't upgrade. They couldn't compete with their particular competitors because of upgrades, onboarding the new customers rapidly, and maintaining the lead. These are the 3 phases where they missed. Okay. So execution pilot product, that is correct, all good, because everything will be happening inside your organization, so always it will work. The second and third phase, when you start, first, once it's come to infrastructure level, you have to do the hardening of operating systems. That is the first phase. Second, application deployment. How will you do the deployment rapidly for your application? Third, automating the configuration management using any configuration management tool or by your any shell scripts, right? And the third phase, while upgrading the services, or we can say infrastructure, definitely you will use the microservices or something like that architecture to scale fast. Now, let's relate this everything with the DevOps world. Okay. So this is the typical DevOps key principles phases, where you will start with test-driven development. Okay. Once the development has been done, then automated deployment will start. Once the automated deployment is happening, yes, automated operations, that means the healing engines and everything, monitoring process will come into the picture, right? Once that is done, then as showcased in the previous session, metrics-focused platform will come into the picture, like log analysis or something like that, reporting, right? And then, yes, continuous security and compliance. That is the biggest one. It will be always there with any tool chain, right? So basically, what we know, we already know how to build, how to test. Because as you are the developers, you know how to build. You know how to test. From the DevOps perspective, I don't know about your application. I know only, okay, this is your application that has to be deployed somewhere as per your given requirements, right? But the infrastructure which you require, that will be provided by the DevOps architects or DevOps practitioners. So in that case, I'll be focusing on deployment, right? So typical CI/CD pipeline, build and test will be covered as a CI, continuous integration part, within your tool chain, whatever you have as a DevOps tool chain. The continuous deployment part, which is a CD, where deployment comes into the picture, which is a major one, because CI most probably will fail if your code has some problem. But CD can fail if code or infrastructure or environment has some problem. Okay. Yeah. So CI, in that also you need a testing infrastructure which can be created dynamically. If it is a physical box, then it's up to you. But if it is the world of a VM, right? So you need a testing infrastructure. For deployment, you need pre-prod, stage, and production infrastructures, right? So let's come to the topic of a deployment, how we democratize the deployment. That means anybody can do the deployment. It's not like you are the developer, that means you won't do the deployment, right? It's okay, you are deploying your application on a local system, that's fine. On a developer environment, that's fine. But what after that? You are not getting the control over your application if it is deployed in another environments, which is not on your hand, right? So I'm presenting one a platform which is just formed called deploy now. So I'm starting with a small demo. Okay. So here, I'm going to showcase you the deploy now. What kind of deployment it can be done. So this is the deployment dashboard where I'm getting login. So this is about after the application development. Okay. So here first I'm creating the environment for my application where my application will get deployed. So I'm creating an environment for my Magento web store, an online web application. I'm creating the connection for my application machines, and I'm providing the providers where I want to deploy my application, whether it is a cloud or in-house data center, I can configure that. Now my environment has been created. So now let's start. This demo is based on the AWS. So it will be creating the infrastructure on AWS. So here now I have to create the instances. That means the blueprint I will draw over here. So I'm just doing a drag and drop. The first AWS resource, which is EC2 instance, I'm starting with. That is web instance. Okay. So here the example is 3-tier application, web, app, and DB. So I'm creating now app. And the last, the DB instance, which is RDS. So now my infrastructure, native infrastructure has been created. Now I have a dependency. Let's say, for example, my database has to be created first, then my application, and then my web layer. Okay. So I'm configuring the machine, what kind of machine size I want, and what kind of parameters I have to pass. Based on the cloud providers, it will differ. So these parameters can be configured as per your application code or as per your infrastructure. Now I'm configuring my application layer, the 2 instances which I'm going to create. So here I have to pass the what kind of AMI I'm going to use. That means Amazon machine image. Yeah. So now the machines has been configured. We have to add the packages as for your application, like you have a jar file or a war file. I'm going to configure that application packages from the packages section, which is relevant to me. Even I can add the custom packages in the app store. So I'm configuring the Magento applications now with the application layers. Okay, for the application configurations, I have to pass what kind of connection I have to make, like DB connection with my application layer. That are credentials I have to pass to manage app and DB communication. Now I'm saving the environments, you will get the dependency. So first, it will create the DB, and then it will start with the app. So now I'm adding the web package. For the web, same thing. As a JSON, I have to pass my credentials because I'm creating this application on AWS. So I have to pass my access key and secret key over here. Cool. So we are all set with our environment. So dependency arrows has been created. Based on that, the application provisioning will get started. So now deployment has been started as the green icon is blinking over there. So that means that particular machine is getting created, right? So after the few minutes, the icon will get changed as a thumbs up, and then the next stage of the app deployment will get started. So you can see the live log also, in which state my configuration is going on. Once that is done, all the things done, now you can access the directly a URL. It will be under configuration tab. Yeah. Resource details, you can check the IP address. You can take that IP address, paste it on a browser. My app is ready. Right? So in that case, whatever the application you have, whatever the particular dependency you have, whatever the complexity you have, you can draw it on that dashboard. Based on that dependency and the complexity, your infrastructure will get ready. Okay? So how it is working? This is the working diagram actually. Whether you have custom scripts, whether you have configuration packages, or whether you have infrastructure code. Club it into one and give it to deploy now. So deploy now can work on your infrastructure as well as for the cloud infrastructure, right? Whatever the code you will be given, it will be customized based on the templates, because infrastructure templates you will be providing like, okay, I want n-tier applications or a 3-tier applications, 2-tier applications like that, whether it is a container-based or a VM-based, it can be possible, yeah? And then based on the cloud providers, you can deploy applications, okay? So these are the real numbers, what we achieved from our customers, like whenever we are starting with the QA environment. So QA environment were like 2 people, manual people taking 8 hours for the QA, doing the QA only on the application, right? To set up at least the environment, they were taking the 8 hours. Or we can set up the box. Oh, this is my QA box, like that. But here, it's happening in a minute. Same for production environment or a pre-production environment. Only one person will be doing everything. So what is there in deploy now? Providers, that means whatever the clouds you want to provide. Wherever you want to spin up your infrastructure, that means it's a provider. Packages, that means a custom, readily available packages as well as your application packages, right? Because it differ based on organization to organization, application can differ. Next, the environments. What kind of environments you're gonna create? Staging, production, pre-production, QA, like that. And then the resources, how you are doing the connectivity between your environments as well as your application components, okay? So the things are, what are the various environments are there in your deployment? That is the first question, whenever I'm starting with the deploy now. Second, how frequent you are doing the deployment? Whether it is a minutes deployment or whether it is an hourly based deployment, how fast you are doing the deployments. Next, how long the deployment is taking in your case. It's minutes, hours, day, how much, like that. Next, and how many code, or we can say how much code you are going to deploy, whether it is a GBs or a TBs, how you are configuring those particular deployments. So once that is done, I am starting with the deployment automation. So I'm going to another demo. Okay.
demonstration of Deploy Now, which is a deployment automation platform, part of the DevOps Accelerator Suite by RainCloud. In this short demo, we will demonstrate how to configure and deploy a 2-node Hadoop cluster within 13 minutes using Deploy Now. What we'll do is we will go through an instance of Deploy Now and log in. So this URL will be specific to your particular Deploy Now service. Log in with your account credentials. Now we're in Deploy Now. Let's create a new environment. We'll create the Hadoop cluster. Give it a description. We're going to use 2 data nodes for this small example. Establish the Hadoop cluster connection, and then provide in the
Same way I'm doing the deployment over here also.
environment. Those credentials have been previously saved, and now we have a new environment ready to go. First, we'll drag in an instance and give it a name. This will be the name node of the Hadoop cluster.
This is an example of a Hadoop cluster
We'll
actually.
also add in 2 more just like that. Drag and drop, call one data node 1, the other data node 2. Now we have 3 resources created successfully. Now let's configure each one. So we'll go into the name node, and we know the AMI ID, the Amazon machine image, so we'll put that in, and we'll pick an instance type, and that'll be the T1 micro. And we will configure each of the data nodes just the same way. So all 3 nodes have been configured. Let's save that deployment. We will add a package
Now
called Hadoop
I have to
name
add the
node,
package.
and we'll click on
Hadoop
the
package.
packages, and we'll have a whole set of different packages right out of the box, working and tested and certified. So we can click and drag these packages into the different nodes that we have. So we'll just do a filter for Hadoop, put in the package for the name node into the name node instance, and we do the same thing for the Hadoop data node for the data node instances to configure it. Now what we'll do is we'll configure the packages within the nodes by making sure we put in
So
the
here
name
we have
node
to add the
IP address.
dependency of my name node in the data node side.
And we'll
So I'm
use
adding the
private
dependency,
IP.
a private IP of my name
We'll do the
node.
exact same thing for data node 2. And then require the private IP to register itself as a data node. And this will make the data node part of the cluster.
So once I will save the
Let's hit save
environment,
again,
and create the
And we can
dependency.
see that the dependency arrows indicate the right connection.
Now I will start the deployment.
Now we'll click on deploy, and this will deploy the name node and with the configuration and the packages, and we can look in the resource logs and seeing how the process is progressing. The green blinking circle denotes that the deployment is in
Find the
progress.
state of your deployment. So first is
Once
done.
the green thumbs up, that means it's completed there for the name node, and it's still green for the data nodes.
So second is going
They are
on.
done in parallel, so they're
Which
both
is doing
loading at the
parallel.
same time.
It's not like one by one deployment. Everything is working in a parallel once the
We can look
dependency
at
has
the
been
resource
satisfied.
details. We can see what availability zone is, what the public IP. So we'll copy that.
So once you will get the public IP,
And then we'll
provide
use
the port number which is related to
50070
Hadoop.
for the default
That is
port of the
50070,
Hadoop node web
and you will get the Hadoop infrastructure over here,
interface.
the master
You can
node.
look at the data nodes. There's none showing right now
So data
because
nodes
they're still
are
being
getting created
deployed
as of
in
now.
terms of the packages. Now that they have the
Nodes
green thumbs up,
Done.
that means that they're ready to go, and we should be able to go back, refresh the page, and now you'll see the internal IP addresses as well as the rest of the information.
So
Thank you
that's
for
done.
watching this video. Please visit us at www.raincloud.com.
So that was about deploy now. Any questions?
Are those Hadoop templates already part of this
out of the box you will get the 70 resources, 70 packages, right? One of that is Hadoop. If it is not available, you can come with your custom scripts if you have. Otherwise, you will create it for you.
Okay, so basically, if I use this right now, I can create my own custom deploy script.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? So today I am here only. If you have any questions later on also, if you want to start a conversation, you can reach me out. Thank you.